Hi folks, this is Tony for aminutetomidnight.com. Please make sure you subscribe to us at our website by going down the right hand side of the page and entering your email address. Through a number of largely engineered crises and catastrophes, the world as we know it is being systematically destroyed and changed to bring in a completely new system. We have threats of famine, we have the ongoing war between Russia and the Ukraine, or more realistically a proxy war between Russia and America and NATO. And latest I see Russia's Gazprom has told customers in Europe it cannot guarantee gas supplies because of extraordinary circumstances, according to a letter seen by Reuters. A letter from Russian state gas monopoly said it was retroactively declaring force majeure on supplies dating from June 14th, and the news comes as Nord Stream 1, the key pipeline delivering Russian gas to Germany and beyond, is undergoing annual maintenance, meant to conclude on Thursday. Known as the Act of God clause, force majeure is standard in business contracts and spells out extreme circumstances that excuse a party from their legal obligations. An article at RT states the following: Germany won't survive winter without Russian gas. Official: Germany's natural gas reserves are not enough to see the country through next winter without purchasing additional Russian gas, the top official in charge of electricity and gas networks has told the media. And of course, Germany is only one of the countries in Europe that's facing a big problem over this lack of natural gas. And currently there's a heat wave in Europe, and Daily Mail Australia says this: Europe is consumed by tunnels of fire in extreme heat of 117 degrees Fahrenheit. Firefighters battle blazes in France, Portugal and Spain as thousands are evacuated while Europe bakes in record temperatures. And of course, they were able to conveniently blame this on man-made climate change, the boogeyman, so that they can implement or have more teeth to implement their Agenda 2030 and Sustainable Development Goals, which we all know they're pushing very hard. The entire world really is slipping into a big recession, which we all should do what we can to prepare for, because it's only going to get worse. An article at The Lost Sense, written by Henry D. Wilson, says this: prepping for the upcoming government-induced food shortages. Farmers are coming out saying they've been told to quit farming, are being forced to dump milk and kill chickens and turn vegetable crops under. Peter Sands, the executive director of Global Fund to Fight AIDS, Tuberculosis and Malaria, told Reuters in an interview that the next global health crisis is food shortages. Rising food and energy prices could kill millions directly and indirectly, Sands said. An article by Tyler Durden: satellite imagery shows global crop declines except for Russia and China. Infrared satellite imagery designed to measure moisture levels and the health of farmland suggests that staple crops such as wheat are in poor condition and in sharp decline among major exporters, including the Ukraine, the US and India. Two countries do have bumper crops so far though, namely Russia and China. It's very in your face, and it's no secret that the global elite want to use all of these supposed crises to bring in their new system, destruction of the old system, so that they can bring in their new system. World Economic Forum boss Klaus Schwab has been very loud and vocal about the need for a great reset, the fourth industrial revolution, and basically transhumanism. Just play a couple of little clips from Klaus here. And then after that, I want to show you, though, that the basis for global government already exists, and it's called the Council for Inclusive Capitalism.
The difference of this forced industrial revolution is it doesn't change what you are doing. It changes you. If you take genetic editing, right, just as an example, it's you who are changed. Yeah, and of course this has a big impact on your identity. Yeah. Governments have a key role to play. It's the young generation which certainly will drive the future. But governments have to shape the future, the theme of this annual meeting. When I was here last year, I talked about innovation. And many of the things I talked about were considered to be fiction, far away in the future. But ladies and gentlemen, excellencies, the future is already here. The future has begun. Let me tell you why this fourth industrial revolution is so crucial, so overwhelming in terms of the changes it will bring to us. It changes not only what we are doing, it changes us, because it's a fusion of our physical, digital, and biological spheres. It's an integration of those spheres. Just think of sensors planted into our brains. The opportunities are immense, and we have to prepare ourselves already now. History meets us now, and governments, as I said at the beginning, are challenged. They have to change.
Klaus Schwab wants to turn people into transhumans, as I've said before, through genetic modification and brain chips and so forth. So now I want to just read a few extracts from a PDF called After COVID, Davos Moves to Great Reset by F. William Engdahl. The Great Reset of the World Economic Forum is a 21st century rollout for a new form of global total control. And then it quotes Klaus Schwab. We only have one planet, and we know that climate change could be the next global disaster with even more dramatic consequences for humankind. We have to decarbonise the economy in the short window still remaining and bring our thinking and behaviour once more into harmony with nature, declared World Economic Forum founder Schwab about the January 2021 agenda. Skipping down a bit. The Rockefeller Foundation and the Rothschilds, in the person of Lindy Rothschild's Council for Inclusive Capitalism with the Vatican, are moving to create the next generation in their pursuit of global domination. It's being called the Great Reset. It requires global government, a plank significantly endorsed by Jesuit Pope Francis. Its PR man, Klaus Schwab, is a self-admitted protege of Rockefeller insider Henry Kissinger from their days 50 years ago at Harvard. In May 2020, the coronavirus had caused global panic lockdowns far beyond the initial outbreak in Wuhan. The British Crown Prince Charles, together with the World Economic Forum founder Klaus Schwab, unveiled what they gleefully named the Great Reset. Increasingly, world political and business leaders are using terms such as the Great Reset or the Fourth Industrial Revolution and the call to build back better, which the Biden administration prefers. They are all anchored on the same set of dramatic global changes. The US Green New Deal and the European Union Green Deal are all part of it. The most striking fact about the agenda of the Great Reset is that it is being advanced by the same giga-rich plutocrat families responsible for the flaws of the present world economic model. They, not we, have created ruin of organic fields and nature with their Roundup, glyphosate and toxic pesticides. They've ruined the air quality in our cities by the transportation models they force on us. They created the free market model of globalization that has ruined the industrial base of the United States and the EU nations. Now, as they blame us for an alleged catastrophic emission of CO2, we are being conditioned to accept guilt and be punished in order to save the next generation, for Greta and her friends. Few people could argue that the Rothschild family is one of the richest and most powerful families in the world. Some people believe that Evelyn de Rothschild is the current head of the Illuminati, and his wife Lynn Forrester de Rothschild is a founding and managing partner of Inclusive Capital Partners. Here is what she has to say on their website. I had been working on these issues and convening conversations since 2012 because I believe that politics and capitalism needs to return to a basic sense of decency. By June of 2015, Laudato Si was written by Pope Francis. By September, the Sustainable Development Goals were agreed to by the United Nations. By December, the Paris Climate Accord had been signed. You had every reason to believe there was a greater sense of the common good. That is why I reached out to the Holy Father, because I think that a lot of what it will take to change behaviour is a moral and ethical reawakening. It's not just policy, it's not just taxes, it's not just reforming the labour laws, all of which are important, but at the core of it, it has to come from common decency. These people are the drivers behind the Great Reset, of which Klaus Schwab is the face. And I want to now play you a clip, which is the promo video of Inclusive Capitalism, and you will see how, well, many important, powerful people are behind this movement. And you can be sure that the Rothschilds, Rockefellers, and these other powerful and rich elites are not going to give up their wealth or their power whilst they level the rest of us into this new system, which is basically a socialist system with the oligarchs above it.
È necessario urgente un sistema economico giusto, affidabile e in grado di rispondere alle sfide più radicali che l'umanità e il pianeta si trovano ad affrontare.
We are answering Pope Francis's challenge to create more inclusive economies that spread the benefits of capitalism more equitably and allow individuals to realize their full potential.
A majority of people around the world say that they think their families will be worse off in 5 years. That's a scenario that we simply can't accept.
Too much wealth has accreted to too few people.
If you make money, what's the point if you're not prepared to share it? If the people who help make that wealth for you can't live with dignity?
It's inclusive capitalism, though, and we have to recognize that starting from where we are to where we need to get to, we need to bring everyone along, and there will be adjustments that come with that.
We do need the private sector's ingenuity, capital, technology, people, everything, their passion to come to the party.
We want to operate in a sustainable way, where incentives are aligned across generations, not just across quarters, and the main actors take a long-term perspective.
Aligning our innovation with the UN Sustainable Development Goals and the priorities of inclusive capitalism is both a business and sustainability imperative.
Two reasons, I think, why I'd say concrete commitments to inclusive capitalism matter. I mean, the first, and not to be underestimated, really important, is they can inspire other people. And the second thing that I would say around concrete public commitments is they can help build trust.
Leaders in the business community can be a unifying force. They can be a source of opportunity. They can be a source of understanding. So we as business leaders can step up and solve many of these economic problems.
I think business plays a very important role in resolving these challenges. I think businesses have to become part of the solution through leadership by example and through leadership by incentives.
We are stewards of this earth. It's our duty
to keep it clean and to keep it decent for future generations.
I'm wanting to embark on this journey to provide the guidance and the assistance of the church's own social thought and whatever other consideration might be necessary, whether ethical or, just social guidance, so that this group that has, taken up such a noble task of making capitalism work for the good of humanity, achieve its goal and land on target. So this is our vision, this is our purpose.
Look, the fact that different religions need to come together on all matters is just the crying need of the times in our world. Faith cannot be used to pull us apart. Faith is meant to bring us together. And the fact that I'm a Sikh and somebody else is a different religion, to me doesn't matter.
Our work is indeed about social justice, which is rooted in the gospel. The idea that every person deserves to live in a just society.
Capitalism is at the heart of innovation that creates higher standard of living. And we know that it's been working, yet we also know we can do a lot better.
We need a new system focused on the well-being of people. It's a big challenge, but if it is done right, the benefits will be immense.
It's not just an asset owner, it's not just an asset manager, it's not just a CEO, it's not just these boards of directors. We have to work collectively over the long term.
What I think capitalism has to stand for to be inclusive capitalism, how we help everybody have equal access to the opportunity, have the economic mobility.
The Council is a terrific body in which we can assemble a critical mass of companies to join and commit to concrete actions that not only affect and improve the communities in which we live, but affect the world community of which we're all a part of.
We believe we need more than 1,000 organizations on board, and only with this very purposeful collective action, we will see the systemic change across markets that will make capitalism truly inclusive.
We invite all businesses, large and small, and individuals to join us as stewards for inclusive capitalism by going to our website, agreeing the principles, and making your own commitments to inclusive capitalism. Please join us. Thank you.
Notice in there the talk of uniting religions. In other words, a global religion as part of the world government. This is lining up so much with what the Bible said would happen in the end days. It is really playing out, and Scripture will be fulfilled 100%. You can bet on that. Folks, I just want to complete this video by going back to where I started near the beginning with the fact that we're facing food shortages and an engineered collapse of the financial system as well. It's time to realize that things are not going to be getting better, as some people would try to have you believe in some of the prophetic circle of people, the same people that'll probably embrace the global religion, many of them. But the fact is we need to prepare spiritually and physically and mentally for what lays ahead. So do what you can to prepare. Ask God what you specifically should do to prepare, but do something to be prepared, because the food shortages are going to exacerbate, as well as the potential for more pandemics and even the whole monkeypox thing that's exploding a little bit at the moment. We have to watch that, because remember Bill Gates warned us of a second pandemic. Now whether it's that one or something else, we'll have to wait and see. And the alleged climate crisis, which they will use to bring in the Sustainable Development Goals further with Agenda 2030, etc. With social credit and ESG scores, and as well pressures for people to embrace transhumanism and genetic modification of humans and food. The fact of the matter is that we're going to be facing unprecedented events occurring as they bring us or use these excuses to bring us into the beast system that the Bible speaks of. And I do believe that we are in the end days that Jesus spoke of, and the book of Revelation and the book of Daniel and many other places in the Bible, that is where we are at, and it's time to not be in denial of the facts of what's going on around us, to see them for what they are. Don't try not to become despondent and discouraged, but to trust in God that He will get you through whatever comes. But at the same time, I think God gave us a brain and He wants us to use it as to what to do. So seek Him about it. And it'll be different for every individual, but just put some thought and some prayer into it. Okay, so now A Minute to Midnight's run 100% by donations. If you want to help us, you can always do that at aminutetomidnight.com, and it's greatly appreciated. And also subscribe to us at aminutetomidnight.com by going down the right hand side and entering your email address where it says subscribe to blog. The music used, I've written, played and recorded in all of the videos. Well, God bless, and that's all I wanted to cover in this video, but hopefully we'll be back soon with another one.